Yeah, we're at the midway point of the Cactus League and the Grapefruit Circuit. And part of me, John, would say wins and losses in spring training don't really mean much. The most important thing, do you get answers to questions? So therefore, I'm not hitting the red panic button over here because the Padres are 1-9-1 since the first week of spring training. Not playing real well. But that being said, they're not getting answers to questions about depth, questions about vacancies in the everyday batting order, questions, do we have enough pitching? So flash up the first topic here as it relates to Padre baseball, because this is the big issue. They need a left fielder. They need to replace virtually the entire bench bunch. Have yet to decide who's the catcher. And they're not hitting at all. Nobody's hardly hitting at all. And we're halfway through spring training. And usually in the Cactus League and the Grapefruit Circuit, John, hitters are way ahead of the pitchers in spring training. And the Padres going into this Thursday exhibition game as a team were hitting 231. Nobody is hitting. And these are all the guys that they brought in, hoping to find a left fielder, hoping to find a starting catcher, hoping to find the right mix in the bench bunch. Hasn't worked yet. Now, I will say this. Tirso Ornelas, the kid hit 23 home runs last year at El Paso, just continues to swing a pretty good stick. He's hitting 421. He might be their opening day left fielder. The refugee who came from Cleveland and the Yankees, Oscar Gonzalez, he's hitting 348 this spring. Now, he's not playing every day, but when he's played, he's contributed. Connor Joe is Connor Joe, the ex-Rocky and Pirate. Now, because he's an established major league guy, he'll probably be a bench bunch guy, but he's only batting 231. Eggy Rosario might be a third baseman, might be a second baseman, might be part of the mix in left field. He's got extra base hits, but he's only batting 178 this spring. They wanted to go to camp and unlock the mystery that was Gavin Sheets. He can hit home runs, but he strikes out a lot. Have not unlocked it yet. He's only hitting 151. I'm kind of surprised Jason Heyward has no hits this spring. I think he's had 12 at-bats. Has he lost his bat speed? I think that becomes the big question there. Yuri Gurriel, whom they just signed a couple weeks ago, he's 40 years of age, ex-Houston Astro, ex-Marlin. He's only hitting $163. And the catching situation's not really resolved. You know, former All-Star, former Rocky Leos Diaz is only hitting $183. Campusano, who's got all this world of talent, and they've been waiting for it to come together, he's hit only 182. And it's obvious Martin Maldonado, when he arrived here, brought his gloves, but the airlines must have lost his bats. He has no base hits at all. So, John, those are the guys that we're trying to get some answers to. They don't have very many answers, and I got 2.5 weeks to go before the start of the baseball season. What do you think?
I always get the sense in spring training that this is a little bit of a lottery, you know, where they get a bunch of these sort of cast-offs and guys that never lived up to their potential, hoping to strike gold with one of them. And so it seems it's Ornelas' turn this year. So good for him. But like going back to that list, I mean, I look at some of these names. I mean, Campusano has got to figure this out. I mean, he's been struggling with the stick. He's shown moments. He's been terrific. He needs to figure out. Gurriel is not going to make this team. Heyward and Joe, I think they're on major league contracts. They'll probably be in the mix. I've been hearing people talking about Eggy Rosario as a potential, trade ship. So, what do you take on that?
Well, I don't know that there's very much value. And, as we get towards opening day, everybody's got the same roster crunch situation. So I'm not sure you're going to trade for somebody who's going to take up a slot on your 25-man or your 40-man roster. I don't know at this point. They got a couple more weeks to go, but I am surprised that nobody's hit at all because historically, spring training, hitters are way ahead of pitchers in spring training, except in San Diego's camp.
Yeah. But you remember, every once in a while, there's a player that we've never heard of that just goes crazy in spring training and lights it up, and then they make the major league roster and they last like maybe 3 weeks.
That's when I start throwing curveballs and cutters and all that.
Yeah, so everything about spring training is just kind of weird. It's like it's hard to judge reality.
Okay, let's go to next topic on